Salutations, my name is Rizen, and this is my review for Sonic and the Secret Rings released in 2007 for the Wii. For this, I'll start with my review, followed by a long play of each of the main missions with my commentary. After much thought, I found a good metaphor for this game. A salad made from a cookbook with pages that stick together. So you're making the salad, you add 2 cups chopped lettuce, tomatoes, turn the page, chocolate chips, flour, turn the page again, and bake for an hour on 325 degrees. It doesn't turn out very good. To appreciate Sonic and the Secret Rings, you have to realize it's not a standard Sonic game. It plays like a car racer, / trial and error, / character customization, / Sonic Cross. It does all these things well, but they don't mix gracefully. The story is mediocre, but you don't play Sonic games for the plot. An evil genie named the Eraser Jin, which is a play on Eraser and his weapon is Razor. Anyway, he's erasing the pages from the Arabian Nights book. A lesser genie of the ring, Shara, summons Sonic into the book world to help stop him. 7 Chaos Emeralds, 7 Secret Rings are involved. Notice pattern here. When you think about other Sonic game plots though, like Sonic going to the past to see a tribe of echidnas feel the wrath of the god Chaos, or an interplanetary amusement park with colorful little aliens, it's not too far-fetched. Cutscenes in a comic book panel style between levels show the story. They're done well for that, but I prefer full 3D videos, of which there are only 2. You're seeing the opening video and Night Palace intro right there. The voice acting is about par with most Sonic games. It's kinda cheesy, but for what it is, it works. We all know gameplay is what counts. There are 7 worlds with a main mission, side challenge missions like collecting rings, finish in time limit, take no damage, and so on, and a boss each, plus a tutorial like Lost Prologue. Sonic can use his soul gauge to speed through safe areas or slow down time to make tricky parts easier. You have to be careful with the speed break ability though, because if you're not in safe areas, Sonic will just run right into an enemy or off a cliff, so you really have to know what you're doing with that. Again, I'll say Secret Rings does not play like a standard Sonic game, and you'll hate it if you try to play it like one. Sonic runs on a track that curves around the levels, and you can move him left or right on that track. This part is like a car driving game. You have to think in a way that works with the course. The trial and error, die and retry part comes into the combat and platformer action. You need to plan jumps carefully, some long and some precision short hops. With a vaguely defined track, high speed, and motion controls, these parts will make you rage. If you don't like games like Rayman Legends or I Want to Be the Guy, you really won't like Sonic and the Secret Rings. As you play, you'll earn experience and new skills. Skills can make the game much easier. If you're stuck, try a different mission, level up, and equip some new skills. If you're having trouble with tricky jumps, use skills that increase homing attack range and jump speed. If enemies are giving you trouble, skills like Aegis Slide or Fire Tackle, Quick Slide are more useful. The problem is some skills will make certain missions harder. Landing Dash is great for speed missions but makes precision hops tricky, for example. And some missions require specific skills to complete, like a homing attack expand to kill a distant enemy. You simply cannot beat certain missions if you have the wrong skills. Sonic and the Secret Rings doesn't hold the player's hand either, but if you like to optimize your game, really customize skills, and find out what works, practice and challenge yourself, this isn't a bad game. The motion controls and gameplay are not as bad as people say if you're willing to put a lot of time into practicing. I completely understand if you're not though, because it's not a great game either. The presentation is great with cool and beautiful levels. I'll get to that after the review in the gameplay section of this video. Although there are only 7 worlds, they're huge and you really feel immersed in them like they're a real fantasy world, so they did a great job with those. I don't recommend this game for the general audience, but if you like trial and error, die and retry kind of games, or games that focus heavily on customization, just really getting something precise, getting it right, or say speedrunning racing games, really optimizing the track, you might like Sonic and the Secret Rings. My final score is 6.5 out of 10. Sonic and the Secret Rings is an acquired taste. Here we're already into the Sand Oasis level. It's a nice big level, as you can see. That right there is a good example of running on a track where the track goes back and forth and Sonic just automatically does that. You can grind on rails. They really have a nice, beautiful cinematic experience, like right here when he's bouncing off the bumpers or flying through the air. It really feels like you're in a huge area, like you're in a desert kind of town and stuff. It doesn't feel just like a small floating level like some games that's put together specifically for the point of being a level. It feels like you're actually running through a big town.
This red ring is a fire sword.
Nice water there. I always appreciate good water in games. You can see the fire effects are pretty good. They actually look like flames there. I think they did a good job with the presentation of this game. Although there's only 7 worlds and each world for the missions is recycled. You can tell it's a big world and they put a lot of effort into this. It has great texture, great lighting and stuff. The shadows are good. So I think they did a good job with it. You can't just rush forward, you have to wait for those spikes and time it right.
What?
One thing they really got down in this game is the speed aspect. When you're going fast, Sonic really seems like he's going fast. And that has problems in itself with controls and stuff. But, I mean, a lot of Sonic games, people complained about the fact that it wasn't fast enough. Like, say, Sonic Lost World, that was more focused on platforming, and people were complaining that it didn't have enough speed to it. So, I guess you can't please everyone. Here you can see my score for the mission. You get points that go to experience. I got a gold medal in that particular one. Gives a little overview. And the experience levels up, you can see I got more skill points. I can hold more rings. And my soul gauge can hold more pearls worth of energy. Ran into the rock. This is the second level, Dinosaur Jungle. And again, it really feels like they put you in a jungle. I mean, obviously it's on a track, but it has a very nice large environment, and that I like. I'm kind of a sucker for large environment games. But they did a good job with
We can
this.
just get across the bridge up ahead. We should be okay.
Another cinematic kind of experience, having the lob knock you off. You can tell the action is happening pretty quickly here, so they did a good job with the speed and flow of the action. I can definitely credit them for that. Although it is difficult with sensitive motion controls, and you really have to know what's coming to succeed in navigating the course.
You can use your homing attack on the balls that don't have spikes.
Use my homing attacks to get across there.
Open it up and see what's inside.
Here, if you destroy the enemies, you can break through the stone barrier and go up there and collect the rings. There's a few places where you have to beat the enemies to unlock a gate or have a barrier destroyed to get a treasure chest or something. Use my speed break there. If you know the level and you know there's a straightaway kind of thing where you don't have to do any tricky platforming or avoid like those spike balls, then speed break can really save a lot of time. It's good for the missions where you have to finish within a set time. Nice camera angle there when he's jumping on the Brontosaurus's head. I guess Brontosauruses don't have spikes on their back, do they? But then again, the Arabian Nights, as far as I know, just didn't have any dinosaurs. I guess this is sort of like a Disney interpretation of the story, of the classic story. Here's an example of where you have to beat the enemies to move on. And it can be a little difficult to go back, especially if you have speed skills that make Sonic burst forward real quickly. I'm having a little bit of trouble there. But you just have to keep at it. Like I said, it doesn't control like a standard Sonic game. So, in parts of it you will have to back up, but if you have the fire back step, it helps me hit enemies as I go backward too. You have to think of it like if you were in a car race and you were having to back over flowers, which I admit isn't exactly a great premise for a game, but it's not as bad as people say. You just tilt the Wii Remote back. Initially I was in a habit of holding the Wii Remote in a certain way, so you do have to break habits like that. That's a good example of how the log moves on a track. So it's a little hard to steer around the iron balls. You have to kind of understand how the track is, but you have infinite lives, so that's a good trait for the die and retry kind of things. Here I learned from my mistake. I went over to the left there. Made it much easier to dodge the spike ball.
Be careful, Sonic!
Go to the right, collect some rings.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
You have to tilt the Wii Remote sideways at an angle to scooch across walls like this with a pump in several places. You can't just rush ahead or you will get hurt by the dinosaur.
Hey, look at its tail!
There's a great skill called Splash Jump that when you get it, you can hit a wall and then Sonic will flip over it a little bit. Using that like right here, I think. Charge up the jump, yeah, Splash Jump over that. That makes areas like that much easier. You don't have to worry as much about the precision of the jumps as you can just hit a wall and splash jump over it.
Forward again to launch yourself off.
And we run up the edge. I think the level will be ending soon. You can see there's quite a bit of work put into these levels. These would have actually been really great if it had been a free roamer game, but what are you gonna do?
Just a little more, Sonic.
And that's the end of the Dinosaur Jungle main mission. Got a silver medal for that one. There were some experience leveling up and cutscenes in there, but I just cut them out and loading times just to make this video more efficient and shorter.
Who's the big guy?
I've never seen a spirit get that big.
There I wasn't paying attention and the fire gin got me. One minor criticism I have of this game is the checkpoints could be positioned a little better. Like this area right here is not hard to get through, but you're a lot more likely to die on the wall sliding area right here, so they should have put the checkpoint right there, for example. There I waited. Gotta be careful with those spike balls. And I made through it okay the second time with a little bit of error. I can't talk right now. That's okay. Here you have to run left and right to avoid the doors. If you know what you're doing, it's a lot easier. But the first time, you can run into the spike doors quite a bit, or at least I did. You can see the soul gauge on the lower right side of the screen right there. Every time you collect those magic pearls, it fills up. You can use that to speed break or time break. And that's done by pressing, I think it was up or down on the Wii Remote.
You're not gonna evaporate, are you, Shara? Speed break!
Use my speed break right there. You can see I run into an enemy, but I ended up being okay. A lot of what you have to accept about speed break is it's not an autopilot thing. It just makes your character run extremely fast. But you can easily run into someone and get hurt from it. It does have some attack to it, but there's a lot of things that can knock you out of it. But even if you get knocked out of it, you still can save a lot of time that way, provided you don't run off a cliff. Here I have to back up, jump into the ring. It is a little awkward, but once you get the hang of it and kind of just know what to do to back up, it's not that bad. And state again, it's more like backing a car up, which seems kind of weird, but I guess Sega just wanted to try a new thing, and I don't know, while I do prefer the more standard 3D Sonic kind of games, for what it is, if you can accept what it is actually is pretty fun. Or at least for me. Here I have to back up again. Do that by tilting the Wii Remote back, jump into the ring, shake at the right time to get shot upward. I was a little early there. There we go. And apparently in the Arabian Nights book, just like in every place in Sonic's world, they have treadmills just stuck in the middle of nowhere for no reason, but to help Sonic go faster. I have to say, really nice lighting. It feels like it's really hot in this area. You can see like the heat waves and stuff. The rings have a nice gold shine. I like when Sonic's a darker shade of blue. Sometimes he's lighter, like in, say, Sonic Heroes. But I like the darker Sonic personally. We break through there. A nice feature that makes this game easier is you will not lose all of your rings if you get hit once. You just lose a certain amount. So when you have more rings, you're able to take a lot more hits too. My maximum amount of rings right there is 90, and that's directly based on your level. And that's another thing that will make the missions a lot easier, is just having more ring capacity. Here's a good example of a more precision jumping kind of thing. I'll jump and I'll immediately land and charge another jump to keep me from moving forward. Homing attack there. If you try and just keep running forward as you jump, that part can be very difficult, so you have to be careful. You can also cancel jumps like right there, so I fell directly into the ring. Destroy that Jin. See, there I have a homing attack range expand, so it lets me lock onto enemies from much farther away. It makes parts like that more convenient. I would have had to run closer to the edge to get him had I not equipped that skill. I feel like my video is slowing down a little bit there. I hope it's okay. Their Aegis slider really helped me get through those spiked balls. Excuse me, it's allergy season. Mission complete. Earned a bronze medal for that one. And there are boss fights like an Ifrit in there, but I'm not showing those right now.
Man, this wind is strong. It's blowing me back.
Sometimes I'll switch my skills in between levels. Like here, you want something that can make you accelerate really fast. So I had the landing dash for this level, but I didn't have it for the Evil Foundry level. I hope my sound isn't getting desynced. It looks like the video is stalling a little bit as I record this.
Okay.
You can see in scenes like this, it's very cinematic. They have a huge area for Sonic to run in. It's very beautiful. You've got a sunset kind of sky, this floating ruin, as they say in the menu, a floating Hall of the Dead, which is a pretty cool idea, I must say. Aegis slider really helps get through those spikes, by the way. Yeah, for the levitated ruin, I recommend skills that boost your homing attack distance, and boost your acceleration, like landing dash.
Sinbad must really be someone special.
I can't remember specifically, but there's quite a few skills that will give you a speed burst when you like land or after you short hop, for example, and stuff. Those are really useful because the wind will blow you backwards. This can be a lot more difficult if you have a slower kind of skill set. Here's one of those areas where you must defeat the enemy to move forward. In this case, it's a gargoyle there.
Move the Wii remote forward and backward to break free.
It does a flash attack that turns you to stone, so you have to shake the Wii remote. So I backstep a few times. By homing attack in, then I fire step down on him. I think I got him there, yep. Now here I know the gargoyle creates a path of light, which is a great cinematic experience. It's also a great time to use speed break.
Hey Sonic, wait!
Here you can see it's a good example of how it's on a track and I'm running left and right. There's those missiles. It can be hard to anticipate exactly where those magic missiles are. If you don't know what you're doing, you have to think of it like, are they on the left part of the track or the right part? And you have to run to the opposite side just to dodge them. But it's hard to eyeball it. It really is about trial and error a lot. Another beat the enemies to access something. Nice view right there with the sun and the tower. It's pretty cool.
Here we go, Shara.
Sonic, slow
Another
down.
gargoyle path. You can see Sonic moves pretty fast.
Someplace else.
In fact, this might be the fastest Sonic ends up moving, I'm not sure. The only other one I can think of that might add up to this would be Sonic Unleashed in the day stages. He moved really fast in those. I guess you can criticize the controls all you want, but you have to admit they did a great job with the speed aspect.
Look out, Sonic!
We already hit some genies and stuff. Being perfect on this game would be incredibly hard, though. I definitely will admit that, too. But if you know what you're doing, you can recover from it, and you won't make too many mistakes. Like there, I hit the genies again. It can be very hard to just anticipate that.
The ivy to get across.
Shake the Wii remote here to make the rope swing, and jump and homing attack to the next one. Some of the loops actually have spikes inside, so you have to launch out before the loop fully closes, or you'll get hurt and fall into the abyss.
Be careful, Sonic!
Speed break.
There's my speed break there. Rush through that part, get a better score for time.
Whoa, they're over here too.
Whoa! What's with the spike?
If you look at the background and stuff, they have
They just
these really huge areas, which I like a lot. Sonic is covering a huge amount of distance in this level. And every level, but especially this one. And yeah, there will be a lot of things like the towers breaking, they'll fly at you, there's high wind pushing you back. You have to be careful, you have to plan your route and really know what you're doing. This can be very frustrating at first too, until you figure out what you're doing. Here the track curves so you're running sideways. You still use the exact same controls to move forward though, or backward.
Speed break.
Nice wall textures there. And you get to the goal. In case anyone's wondering, yes, that was Knuckles inside the cage, but in the Arabian Nights world, he plays the role of Sinbad. A lot of characters who look like traditional Sonic characters appear as characters in the Arabian Nights books.
3, 2.
Now here's the Pirate Storm level.
Let's
Great particle effects with the ring.
Careful, Sonic!
I really like the contrast between levels too. They have like sand oasis and then dinosaur jungle. It's more like a jungle plus like a desert. In Evil Foundry it looks really hot and stuff, and the levitated ruins, you're really floating and it's almost calm in a way, kind of like a sunset thing. Then you get tossed into this turbulent, violent storm and it's very wet. It's raining and you're right by the ocean, sometimes going over the ocean. There's waves everywhere. Here's a good example of the trial and error part. Sometimes those barrels will just sink. If you have a long enough homing attack, you can actually jump over a lot of the tricky parts too.
Press the plus control pad down and release to do a time. It looks like you can do a homing attack
Okay.
on that barrel.
After one try, I got over that part successfully.
Watch out. When you see them shuttle, don't use your homing attack.
Homing attack up on the enemies, land with a precision jump. See there, the barrels sank. They do that on purpose to kind of trick the player. It's definitely a die and retry kind of game.
Don't use your homing attack.
Fortunately, when you die, you keep all of the, see there I was just stupid, I should wait for the barrel. When you die, you keep all of your soul gauge, so a good thing you can do is time break. And make the tricky parts easier that way. There, I homing attack on the barrel successfully. Land, homing attack on that next barrel. Get through it okay. After 2 tries, 3rd time's a charm.
Let's do it!
Hey, Sonic, wait! That's close.
Ha! No problem!
Aegis Slider can help with those bladed areas. Here's a good example of precision jumps. You want to jump, then cancel your jump, you'll go straight down land, hold down the button, and Sonic won't run forward, and you just do another precision jump.
Yahoo!
Surfing on a bullet bill, I guess. I guess pirate ships are supposed to have cannonballs, but I don't know what that rocket's doing there. Makes for a fun experience, though.
See? Now this is why I love coming to Yoshi.
Sonic, watch out!
Here's a part that forces you to defeat the enemies before moving on. So you have to backstep. Fire step is a good skill for there. You'll notice he has a bit of fire coming out of his feet when you do that backflip. That's a skill that makes it into an attack, so it's quite useful. If you don't have that skill, it can be a bit harder. Lower the gates, you can move on. I think you can actually splash jump over certain parts like that, so it's a very useful skill to always have equipped once you get it. But the first time through, you'll have to beat it the normal way.
How many of these guys are
Throughout the game, you can collect little fire gin souls or something. And they'll unlock various things like movies and cutscenes in the game. There's quite a bit of unlockables, but they're almost all just featured in the game anyway. Like, you can play the cutscenes at any time or play the movies or the songs, but normally you'd just be able to see them after a mission. I have to shake the Wii remote to make that pot fly up.
Look out, Sonic!
I hadn't played this game in quite a while, so I'm not at my best here, but you can see you can make some mistakes, you can recover from them and learn from them. You do have to keep the state of mind that you will make a lot of mistakes and you have to learn from them.
That was pretty rough.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, there's a car alarm going on out there. Why must you ruin my commentary? There it goes.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Nice area in there. As you can see, even though there's 7 worlds, they put a lot of time into them. It starts off on like a pirate ship, then it's like a stormy beach, then you go into an underwater cave, and it's got coral and stuff. It's pretty cool. Then you're on like a pirate galleon.
I've got a bad feeling. Be careful.
Although I definitely will say they reuse the levels a lot. The missions, everything you were seeing in the main levels, which is why I'm showing the main levels, will be reused in missions too. But they'll do parts like in the coral cave area, you have to not collect any pearls as a super challenge mission. It's quite difficult. And considering the amount of effort they put into the main missions, I guess I can forgive them for that. I mean, it would have been nice to have more content, but you can kind of always say that about game, you know? Here's where I mess up some of the precision jumps. I think I did it this time, though. If you keep dying, it means you're probably doing the wrong thing. If you absolutely can't get it, then you should go and change your skill set. If you're missing up on precision jumps because Sonic just keeps running forward into the water, try taking off landing boost or landing dash or whatever. With skills, you can really regulate how fast or slow Sonic goes. Most of my skill rings, Sonic is made to go pretty fast in these, but he also has a lot of upgrades that expand his jump and stuff too, so I'm able to deal with it.
Great job, Sonic.
Leave it to Sonic to never take anything seriously there. Aegis slider through there, splash jump over the gate. He's heading for the goal now. Here I'm using the precision jump method where I'll jump, land, then wait so those fireballs don't hit me there. And now we're at the goal. We're at the end of the Pirate Storm main mission. Got a silver medal for it. I apologize if my audio is a little desynced. It looks like the recording equipment is a little slow there, so hopefully it will be pretty on, but if it's not, just forgive me. Here's a skeleton dome. This can be a big rage level if you don't know what you're doing. There's a lot of things that if you just recklessly try to homing attack on something or jump on rails, it can often mislead you into disaster. It's not as pretty as some of the other levels, but they did a good job with it. It has nice contrast to the other levels too. Giant dinosaur bones.
This doesn't seem very sturdy.
Try breaking it with a homing attack.
Splash jump over that barrier again, saves me from defeating all the
Want
enemies.
to try checking it out?
Here's a good example of parts where the rails will actually lead you into spike balls if you use the wrong ones, or you don't jump off of them quickly enough. This part can be very rage-inducing, especially the first few times when you don't know what you're doing. You have to take it slow. You can see that murmur, hold it on, blah, 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 take it slow. If you try and rush through this part, you are very, very likely to just run right off the ledge. I died there. There's a splash jump to get up there. the rail under there. Yep, there I just ran right off the ledge like I was saying. You have to be careful and just take it slow. Especially if you have skills like landing, dash right there, it will just ruin the part for you. Be careful. Go to a complete stop, jump, homing attack on this floating skulls. Fortunately, there are a lot of checkpoints. Like there's a checkpoint right there. But you will die a lot too, so... One thing that they definitely did well with the die and retry part is they didn't give you a limited amount of lives. You have infinite retries. Which is how die and retry games should be. Defeat the skeleton.
With a slow attack like that?
Open the gate by defeating the skeletons and break that block.
Speed break.
The first mission kind of showcases the new world and it shows the entire level. It's not particularly challenging, but it has a bit of every part of the challenge in the level. And then the later ones will have something like where you have to, say, defeat 50 skeletons, or I don't know, don't take damage or something, and they'll just have a smaller chunk of the level that you have to do that on. They can be quite challenging. I've done a lot of the smaller missions and they are very challenging. Here's an area that will punish you for just dashing forward. You have to be careful and plan out when you slip by the giant spike balls. If you have trouble with those areas, you can always use time break to slow time down. It also allows a lot greater precision. There, the spike balls are trolling me. I have to get out of there quickly. Precision landing there. If you've played the game Shadow the Hedgehog, his hero chaos ability will make you just burst through the level at a very high speed and skip a large amount of it. That doesn't work that way in this game. You will not just skip through the level safely. It simply makes Sonic run much faster. And he does have a certain attack barrier around him, but he can get hit pretty easily too. It's not a completely safe thing. Here they give you a hint about the statue's eyes mean something. What that means is you should go into the portal with the red eyes right there.
Speed break.
And speed break through that area. Fortunately I end up in the right area anyway. Right portal.
We've hit the jackpot!
Shara and Sonic will talk back and forth a lot. I'm not sure how well you can hear them. It's kind of cheesy and obvious Sonic banter mixed with some gameplay tips. I think she was voiced by the same person who voiced Maria in one of the Sonic games. Possibly Shadow the Hedgehog. It can get annoying at times, but that's just kind of how Sonic games go. This is the treasure room. And again, they have really nice graphics and stuff.
We must find the
large area. There's a lot of things in even the skeleton dome just transitioning over. Start out outside, end up in the treasure room. Yeah, the game designers did a great job making you feel really immersed in the world. And the final level in Night Palace, which is what the opening movie was also an introduction to. You can see Sonic's reflection there, it's very pretty. I really like the design of this level. It's cool just having sort of like an Arabian Nights palace floating in the sky, in the starry sky too, and there's all these torches lighting it up and stuff, and it's real high up. Great cinematic feel there. Here's a part where you have to be careful and time it properly. Slide past the spikes. To make it harder, the railings will fall out under you too, so you have to be real careful. Take some good timing. Now here, they give you some pearls on purpose, of course. Those spikes are kind of an evil thing. They'll pop out when Sonic is near. But you restart and you get several pearls from the treasure chest there. They do that for a reason, and that's to allow you to use the time break ability if you need help getting past there. And it's quite difficult to get past, especially since you're using motion controls too. Now this is the only time, there's one time later on in the Night Palace, but I use time break there. I noticed the spikes will actually stay out as long as Sonic's there, so I crept away in a minute here. Come on. And that's why they give you the pearls there too. For tricky areas like this, you really, it really helps to slow time down. So you can just get a feel of what you're doing and not be rushed and really plan out your actions. And I made it safely. Very beautiful lighting in this area. Actually in the entire game. I'll go back and get that silver ring, which is worth 20 rings. Go make the chests to open them. Skills like Aegis Slider, which means when you're sliding, you will not take damage from enemies. It gives you a brief invulnerability time. You can use it to slide past spike balls and enemies and flame spouts and stuff. It's a very nice skill. If you pair that with skills like quick slide and stuff like that, it'll make it so you don't lose as much speed when you're sliding. Sliding is what you do to get ready to jump, and you can slide a good distance and be invulnerable while doing it, so it's quite useful. Another way to get over things is simply jump over them. But yeah, it really feels like you're running through a huge floating palace, and you get on the carpet and you're flying there.
This just keeps getting better and better.
The environments are very beautiful in this game. I definitely like this style where it's like real grand and realistic. But I mean, not necessarily super realistic, but they just did a great job of making the lighting really good and the reflections and the textures and stuff.
Control the carpet by tilting the Wii remote.
It can be difficult to tell where these spike balls are since you're on a rail kind of thing. You can move left, right, up, and down, but the rail will also curve around too. So it's another good example of when I use time break to see exactly where I need to go to dodge the spike balls here.
Sonic, we don't have time for sightseeing.
Now I need to move right to dodge these ones. Stop my time break. That started again. There's some Jinn shooting fire at you. The trick here is they can only actually shoot fire on a horizontal plane, so if you're a little bit above or below them, you'll be fine. The easiest thing to do is just stay high up right there.
He must be through here.
And I made it through safely.
Indeed.
Whoa! What the?
Interesting effect here. It's magic at work. Of course, the character's commentary is painfully obvious exposition.
Which means maybe we can go in.
Really beautiful area here. You're like in a magic vista or
Inside
something
the palace?
in space. I don't know.
Incoming!
It doesn't have to make sense. It looks good.
Watch out! The path is splitting too! Where could this be?
Are we really inside the palace?
Watch out! The path is splitting too!
There, I didn't jump in time.
Where could
Something you
this
have to
be?
keep in mind is Sonic will not jump immediately. When you hold down the button, he crouches and slides a little bit, and that gains power to make him jump. You can equip skills that make him jump a lot faster too, and those are very useful. I highly recommend those for any mission. But you can't just jump immediately when you need to jump. You have to prepare a little bit for it too. As for Sonic games, they have a loop-de-loop kind of thing.
There's something about this hourglass.
A switch, maybe? This gas! Watch out!
The gate. It's fixed.
Just what is this place?
I found Sonic game music is really hit or miss with people. Some people really hate the music, some people like it. With some of the Sonic music I like it, some of it I don't like it. You just kind of have to accept that in Sonic games too. Use my homing attack to get those chests, hit the hourglass. For some reason that opens a magic portal or something. In this area it's like really hot or there's gas or something, so it continuously drains your ring count. You have to get through quickly. Here you can see it's all broken, but the area will repair itself as you run through, which is kind of cool. And boom. So I think I'm nearing the end of the video. This is Sonic and the Secret Rings with my review and playthrough. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe you can appreciate the game a little more, but if you don't like it, that's fine too. I can completely understand that too. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Put a lot of time and effort into these videos. I'm trying to learn video editing and stuff, doing some Let's Play and game guides. Check out my other videos too. I've got a lot of Monster Hunter right now. I'm doing something with Final Fantasy 12, but I might just not continue that project, I'm not sure. It's my first video editing project just to learn the software. Okay, here's where the room's repairing itself, actually. And I'll try and review more games, but yeah, this is more of a game guide slash Let's Play kind of channel than a review channel, so don't expect too many right away.
So, we're finally here.
I'm right at the end of the level. So, once again, thank you, like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video. Goodbye.
Just made it.